If I asked to see your company's most valuable marketing asset, what would you show me? Most businesses would point to their social following or their sleek website. But while you're out there chasing more traffic, more followers, more reach, you're probably sitting on one of the most valuable assets your business already has and doing almost nothing with it. And I'll bet this wasn't your first thought. It's your email list. Now, I know what you're going to say, but Jimmy, nobody opens emails nowadays. And I'm going to push back on that pretty hard today because the data tells a completely different story. And by the end of this video, you'll learn exactly why businesses that ignore their email list are leaving serious money on the table, including the one practical thing you can do this week to start changing that. Hi, I'm Jimmy Gibson, Vice President of Brand Communication at Thrive Internet Marketing Agency. I spend a lot of time speaking at conferences and advising companies across various industries. One of the most common patterns I notice is that businesses pour money into every new platform, chasing attention and hoping for big returns. But few are actively engaging their existing audience. You probably have hundreds or even thousands of contacts in your email list. Prospects who've already shown an interest in what you do. And this list can be a game changer, and yet it's criminally underused as a marketing asset today. So let's look at this from a different angle. In this video, we'll talk about why email gets ignored in the first place. You're probably guilty of at least one of these. Who's actually on your list and why that matters more than you think. What email should really be doing for your business. And lastly, I'll give you a practical starting point to turn a stagnant database into a predictable revenue stream. But before we get into that, hey, you already know what to do. Like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you can stay up to date on everything we're doing over here at the Thrive YouTube channel. All right, let's begin. Despite technological advancements, email marketing has proven to be an enduring and powerful tool for businesses, boasting an average return of $36 for every dollar spent. Some industries like e-commerce do even better with a $45 ROI for every dollar spent. And yet many brands treat email marketing as an afterthought. All right, let's break this down. First, businesses are so busy that email keeps slipping down the priority list. And I'm not judging anybody for this. I get it. Running a business is relentless. There are always fires to put out, clients to serve, and teams to manage. Many brands I've spoken to say the same thing. Hey, we'll prioritize email when things slow down. But things never slow down, do they? In reality, email always competes with something more urgent. A new campaign launches, a client issue pops up, or a team member needs support. Then email marketing is pushed back to the next month again. Until next month turns into next quarter, and suddenly it's been a year without a single email. Second, many businesses assume that you need everything to be perfect before you can send an email, from a polished newsletter template and a full content calendar to a 6-part automation sequence. And because none of that exists yet, nothing gets sent. I've seen businesses spend more time building the perfect email campaign than they would have just spent sending 12 emails over the course of a year. And lastly, most companies underestimate the value of the contacts they already have. When we ask business owners to describe their email list, they often refer to it like some random spreadsheet of contacts. Like them, you probably look at your list and think, hey, these contacts are kind of old. You haven't emailed them in months. Maybe they've forgotten about your brand. So what's the point, right? But let's take a step back and actually look at who's on that list. And when you see this clearly, it changes how you think about your email marketing. When brands think about marketing, there's usually a heavy focus on finding new people or getting in front of audiences who've never heard of you. These include running ads and social campaigns and doing SEO. All of that is legitimate and important. But here's what often gets overlooked. You already have an audience. And in a lot of ways, your email list is a better audience than the one you're trying to build with paid spend. So number one, you've got existing customers, the people who already trust you enough to spend money with you. Two, past customers who have had a positive experience with your business and are far more likely to come back than a cold prospect. Three, then you've got leads who showed interest but weren't ready yet and who might be ready now. And 4, finally, you have subscribers and followers who have opted in because they want to know more about your brand. Do you see the pattern? The people on your list opted in because at some point they were interested in what you do. Think about how much work went into getting those people there. Every ad you ran, every conversation you had, every referral that came in, it all contributed to that list. And what makes an email list different from your social following or your website traffic is that these people gave you direct access to them. Not access filtered through an algorithm or one that you have to keep paying for. Direct personal access to their inbox, which means your email list is one of the warmest leads your business has access to. Ignoring that doesn't just mean missing a future opportunity, it means getting a zero return on work you've already done. And of course, you wouldn't want to waste all your hard work. So today, we stop that cycle. In the next few minutes, I'll get right into how you can leverage your email list without overcomplicating the process. But before that, you need to see what ignoring it is actually costing you. The most obvious cost of ignoring email is being forgotten. Now, here's the hard truth. Your customers will not wait for you. Other options are constantly competing for their attention. If you're not consistently showing up in their inbox with something useful, they forget your name and eventually find a new provider. In fact, did you know that email lists degrade by about 20 to 30% every year? People change jobs, inboxes get disabled, domains expire, and some subscribers simply lose interest and stop engaging. So when you finally do decide to email them 6 months later and sell something, you're basically a stranger to them. That's why your open rates tank. Next is where things start quietly costing you real revenue. Your leads go cold. Think about someone who entered your funnel 6 months ago. They filled out a form. Maybe they even had a quick conversation with your team. There was a real interest there, but the timing wasn't right. And that's normal. Most people don't buy the first time they come across you. Here's the problem. If leads are not nurtured and past customers never re-engaged, you don't exist anymore by the time they're ready. And when that moment comes, because it always does, they don't go digging through old bookmarks trying to remember your name. They go with the company that showed up in their inbox last week. And this is exactly how revenue slips through the cracks without you ever noticing it. And finally, the attention trap. Most businesses are so focused on acquiring new leads that they completely ignore the people that are already on their list. New traffic, new ads, new SEO rankings, all of that is expensive and slow. In fact, studies show that retaining a current customer costs 5 to 7 times less than acquiring a new one. What's more, a 5% increase in customer retention can boost profits by 25 to 95%. As existing customers are 50% more likely to try new products and spend 31% more. Evidently, re-engaging a past customer who already trusts you is much easier than convincing a cold prospect. And once you understand that email is the most reliable tool you have to keep your existing audience warm and engaged, you won't disregard it again. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. You don't want to be annoying or spam people. That's a healthy mindset, and I'll address exactly how to avoid that in just a bit. But the first question you should be asking is, what should your emails actually do? Over the years, I've noticed most businesses that try email marketing and claim it doesn't work have one thing in common. They treat email like a sales channel when it should be a relationship channel. There's a big difference. A sales channel is built to convert with every message pushing forward a transaction. And when that's all you send, people tune out or unsubscribe. That's why so many businesses see declining open rates and engagement over time. A relationship channel, on the other hand, is built to create trust. And this is where many brands get it wrong. Not every email needs to sell something. Some emails educate. Some simply keep the relationship alive so that when someone is ready to buy, you're the business they think of first. So let's talk about what email is really for. First, email keeps you top of mind. This is the simplest and most underrated function of email. A monthly email to your list, even something short and genuinely useful, means you're showing up in their inbox. This consistent presence builds familiarity, and familiarity builds trust. Second, email educates. Your business has unique knowledge that your customers would find genuinely valuable, information that would help them make better decisions, understand their options, and avoid common mistakes. Email is one of the best vehicles for that. Third, email re-engages interest. Past customers who had a great experience with your brand are your easiest win. A simple check-in, a seasonal offer, a new service they may not know about, or a relevant tip. A surprising number of prospects get re-engaged with a strategic, well-timed email. Studies show that the average conversion rate for shopping cart abandonment emails sits around 18.64%. Meanwhile, 20% of abandoned cart recipients read the email, and 29.1% said they saved those emails for later. And lastly, email supports your overall marketing efforts. When strategically integrated with other digital marketing channels like SEO, social media, content marketing, and PPC advertising, email can significantly amplify brand messaging and nurture leads. You can use it to cross-promote content, drive traffic to your website, encourage social sharing, or even feature user-generated content like testimonials or product reviews. And here's the important part. You don't need to send more emails. You just need better ones. I want you to sit with that for a second, because the instinct when you finally commit to email is to go all in. Suddenly you're planning weekly sends and signing up for every automation tool available. And within weeks, you're burned out and wondering why email marketing still isn't working. Effective email works best when it's intentional, useful, audience aware, relevant, and credible. Statistics reveal that 60% of consumers actually prefer to be contacted by businesses via email. They want to hear from you. They just want you to make it worth their time. Which brings me to the part everybody wants to know. Where do you actually start? I'm going to keep this deliberately simple because the goal here is action, not information overload. If you have an email list and you're not using it, here's what I want you to take away from this video. Start with one email a month. Just one email with one clear purpose. Think about what's actually useful to your audience right now. What question do your customers ask you most often? What's something you wish more people understood about your brand? What tip or resource would make someone's day a little easier? That's your email. Keep it short, enough to read in under 1 minute, and close with a low-pressure next step. Remember, not every email needs to be a hard sell. It can be as simple as encouraging them to click a link or inviting a simple yes/no response. Sending your first email puts you miles ahead of every competitor who's still putting off email marketing. Now, if you want to take it a step further, here are a few practical places you can focus your energy. First, you can follow up with old leads. You don't need a fancy sequence, just a simple message like, "Hey, it's been a while, just wanted to check in and see how things are going." You'll be surprised how many conversations that rekindles. You can also email past customers to remind them you still exist. A simple email asking how things are going or sharing something relevant to what they purchased reminds them you're still there and that you care. Lastly, if you want to be more intentional, and you should, loosely segment your list where possible. You don't need 17 segments. Just start with 2, your customers and prospects, because those two groups are in completely different stages. Your customers already trust you. Your emails can focus on added value, such as tips, updates, new services, or way to get more out of what they've already bought. Meanwhile, your prospects are still evaluating. They need proof and helpful information that builds confidence before they take the next step. When you segment your list, even at a basic level, your emails instantly become more relevant, and relevance is what keeps people opening, reading, and responding. Now, you might be wondering, why just one email a month? Here's the big thing about frequency. Research consistently shows that weekly emails generate the highest open rates, about 48.31%. But if you're starting from nothing, sending monthly emails is a good place to start. Get that consistent, then build from there. Hey, you made it to the end. That tells me you're truly interested, and I appreciate that. Now, if you're still feeling stuck, remember that you don't need a perfect email to be effective. 73% of small businesses say they lack confidence in their marketing strategy, and that lack of confidence often leads to paralysis. Don't let the perfect email strategy be the enemy of a good email today. You don't need a sophisticated automation setup, a 12 email drip sequence, an advanced personalization, or a packed email calendar. A simple email with a clear approach sent consistently to the right people outperforms a perfectly designed campaign that never actually gets sent. Here's the bottom line. If you have an email list, even a few hundred or one that hasn't been touched in months, you already have an asset. What you need right now is a simple commitment. Show up consistently, 1 email a month, every month, for 6 months. That is more valuable than one perfect campaign followed by 4 months of silence. Consistency is what keeps you top of mind. It's what builds trust over time and turns a list of names into a real business asset. The bar is honestly lower than most people think. You don't need to be the most polished brand in the inbox. You just need to be the most reliably useful one. If this gave you some clarity on where to start, or if you've been meaning to take your email more seriously for a while now, go ahead and drop a comment below. Tell me where you are with your list right now. I genuinely like to know. And if you need help figuring out what a simple, practical email approach could look like for your business, that's exactly what we do at Thrive. Hit the link in the description and let's have that conversation. Hey, thanks for watching. I will see you in the next one.